Well, it looks like 2026 has gotten a little bit more exciting because along with the new Marvel fighting game that's supposed to be in next year, it was revealed at Sony's State of Play event this year that we're supposed to be getting a new 007 game coming sometime next year. I'm not exactly sure when the release date is, but it's supposed to be called 007 First Light. And this is supposed to be an action adventure game that's going to be developed and published by IO Interactive. And pretty much the story and the premise of the game is going to focus on the original narrative of James Bond, like his story and how he got started and all that. And I feel like that makes for a very interesting video game. And what's even more interesting is that this game has reportedly been in development since 2021. And I believe the same developer for this game was also the same developer for the Hitman 3 game that also came out that year. And a lot of people would go on record and tell you that that was one of the better video games of 2021. And you look at 2021 in general, there weren't too many like memorable games that came out from that year, at least not that I can think of off the top of my head. But yeah, Hitman 3 was one of the few titles that stood out from that year. As far as this game is concerned, um a lot of people have high hopes for the actual game itself just based off what we saw with the graphics and the trailer and pretty much like the voice acting and all that other stuff. People have high expectations for this game, myself included. It should also be noted that it's going to be on the PS5, Xbox Series X. It's going to be on PC, and it's also going to be on the Switch too. So I think this is a really big deal because it's very rare that we get like high profile 007 games on Nintendo consoles. And when it came down to 007 games, like I've kind of been lost in the loop within the past like several years or even the past couple of decades or what have you. But I remember the last major 007 game we got on Nintendo was GoldenEye 007 from I believe it was from 1997, and it came out on the N64. And to this day, the um, the 007 game for the N64, I think, is like one of the best selling games within the 007 franchise. I think it did like somewhere around the ballpark of 8 mil in terms of copies sold. And that's because a lot of people really loved the GoldenEye film that came out at the time. And I believe the GoldenEye film came out back in 1995. So this was like about 2 years before the actual GoldenEye 007 game came out. And speaking of films, I think there's been rumors swirling around the internet that we're supposed to be getting a new 007 movie sometime in 2027. I'm not exactly sure if it's been like confirmed or anything like that because these are just rumors that I've been seeing on various different websites, Yahoo Movies UK. I'm talking about like, Men's Journal. I'm talking about certain sites like that. Like hell, even like The Independent, I think, talked about, the possibility of a new James Bond film being released in 2027. And I honestly feel like that's rather intriguing because normally James Bond movies are always exciting. They always do well in box offices. I believe the last James Bond film that came out came out back in 2021, and it was No Time to Die. And honestly, that one was actually it did really well in terms of box office revenue because I think it did like around like 780 or roughly under that. Like it was somewhere between 770 million and 780 million in terms of box office revenue. But um but yeah, I feel like in terms of like box office revenue and in terms of high profile like films within the James Bond series, Skyfall was one of the more successful films that we got to see in recent memory because I think that one actually did over a billion in terms of box office revenue. And that film was distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. So yeah, So yeah, I'm not exactly sure whether or not this upcoming film is going to have have any of the previous directors doing everything, because I remember with Skyfall it was Sam Mendes. With No Time to Die, um I can't I can't remember who did that, but I think his name was like Carrie something. But anyways, like I feel like James Bond films are always exciting to watch, and the games are always, fun in general. I do feel that this is something that's going to add more excitement to 2026, because 2026 has been, I don't know, it just looked like nothing was going to happen. It looked like there was nothing to look forward to at all. And I feel like we're definitely going to get more surprises as time goes by. And, yeah, I'm hoping 007 First Light is something that lives up to our expectations. It's something that has the potential to be like the best, you know, one of the best video games of next year. And I do feel like it has the possibility to shine on various consoles. Maybe like to the on like the PlayStation 5 to a lesser extent, because GTA 6 is supposed to be coming out next year as well. And I don't know, I guess my biggest fear is that that game could possibly take the spotlight off of 007 First Light, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens next year.